Tiguri, Zurich. The Tigurini were a clan or tribe forming one out of 4 Pagi of the Helvetii. The Tigrini were the most important group of the Helvetii, mentioned by both Caesar and Posidonius, settling in the area of what is now the Swiss canton of Vaud, corresponding to the bearers of the late Latine culture in western Switzerland. Their name has a meaning of lords, rulers. The other Helvetan tribes included the Verbigeni and the Togani, besides one tribe that has remained unnamed. The name of the Tigrini is first recorded in the context of their alliance with the Cimbri in the Cimbrian War of 113–101 BCE. They crossed the Rhine to invade Gaul in 109 BCE, moved south to the Roman region of Provence in 107 BCE and defeated a Roman army under Lucius Cassius Longinus near Aachen. The Tigrini followed the Cimbri in their campaign across the Alps, but they did not enter Italy, instead remaining at the Brenner Pass. After the end of the war, they returned to their earlier homes, settling in the western Swiss plateau and the Jura Mountains north of Lake Leman. The names of the Tigrini and the Helvetii had retained a connotation of a barbarian threat from the north for the Romans, employed by Julius Caesar as a motivation for his expedition to Gaul by suggesting that these tribes were on the move again. In 58 BCE the Helvetii encountered the armies of Caesar, and were defeated and massacred in the battles of the Aar and the Bibracte, allegedly leaving 228,000 dead. These battles were the initial events in the Gallic Wars, fought between 58 and 49 BCE. After the Roman conquest, the Helvetii participated in the uprising of Vercingetorix in 52 BC, losing their status as foederati. As a means of ascertaining control over the military access routes to Gaul, the Romans established the Colonia Lulia Equestris at the site of the Helvetine settlement of Novia Dunum. There was still a fortified oppidum in Bois de Châtel in the later 1st century BC, but it was destroyed in the early 1st century AD. Its population presumably moving to the newly established Helvetan capital of Aventicum. The Helvetii seem to have retained their division into 4 Pagi, and a certain autonomy, until the 60s AD. They supported Galba in the civil war following the death of Nero in AD 68. Their forces were routed at Botsberg Pass in AD 69. After this, the population was quickly Romanized, losing its former tribal identities. These first archaeologically traceable inhabitants of Zurich had already a differentiated coinage system. Gold and silver coins were used for far trade and large transactions, and potten coins, cast from an alloy of copper, tin and lead, were used for daily trade on the local market. This potten coin is of the so-called Zurich type, bearing a stylization of Mercury's wand on the obverse and a stag on the reverse. A rare Zurich ducat dating from the year 1646 is owned by the Sunflower Foundation. It depicts 2 standing lions each holding the Zurich shield. One lion holds a sword, the other, facing the observer, holds a palm frond in its paw. The text on the reverse of the coin runs, Ducatus Novus Reipubl. Tiguri, 1646, which means New Ducat of the Republic of Zurich 1646. The first mention of a settlement called Turicum dates from the 2nd century AD. The name is written on a Roman gravestone found on the Lindenhof Hill. Turicum is of Celtic origin, however, and goes back to the tribe of the Tigrini that settled there. In the 16th century, humanist scholars introduced the additional name Tigurum in the desire to tie up to classical culture. They took over the name of the Tigurini. Until the 18th century, Tigurum was the name used by scholars for Zurich.